Today we are honored to be joined by an excellent panel of great journalists and politicians from both sides of Atlantic, United States, UK, and European Union. All these things served as a lesson that peace and democracy are everyday battle and not just a destination or a dream. A lesson that sadly today seems to be forgotten and seems to be questioned every day. The geopolitics in the Balkans has changed a lot. The vacuum created by United States and EU in last years is filled with influence and presence of Russia and China in many aspects.
We want a stable and prosperous Balkans, and some countries are better in that respect than others. I'm sure, while not a member of the British government, I can say with great confidence that is our government's stance post-Brexit. What worries me slightly is that we will have many competing priorities, and I think an event like this will help bring up the order of those priorities, the Balkans, in the eyes of the British government.
My belief is that the only way we can respond to all the different challenges we have around the world, whether we like it or not, is through alliances. The other part is, from a standpoint of Europe, presence means something, there's no doubt about it. That's why we, being in Europe, helps, just like the UK and the rest of our allies. On the other hand, we're also 7,000 to 3,000 miles closer to the threat. We're either in place in Europe or we're closer to Europe or Middle East. And for those that believe coming home is going to save money, it's a really fallacious argument. You don't save any money. Most of our facilities in Europe are already paid for. It doesn't cost any more to fly an airplane in Europe than it does in the United States. We have great hosts in Europe, but it also demonstrates our commitment to the region. So I think the discussion about us drawing down, leaving Europe is one of the worst things that's happened in my career, and I think we'll stop that. And I think without alliances, the United States can have a tough time proceeding.
General Holt, I do really appreciate your stand on this, and I hope things will change. You know, as I do appreciate the call of President Trump for increasing the defense budget of the NATO countries, which was the right call. I think the presence of American troops and working with other NATO allies, especially when we are leading toward bipolar world, America and China, is very important, and also some of the activities of Russia and other concerns and threats, as you mentioned, in Mediterranean Sea and other parts of Middle East.
And that process is going to restore closer cooperation between the U.S. on Albanian issues in Albania and in Kosovo. President-elect Biden has a long history of friendship and cooperation with Albanians. He was an outspoken critic of Slobodan Milosevic's aggression in Bosnia, led efforts to lift the arms embargo. He introduced the 1999 resolution authorizing the use of force against Yugoslav armed forces. He also worked multilaterally to cooperate more closely with NATO during the intervention. And we can expect from the Biden administration a more proactive and balanced approach in the Balkans.
I see the Balkans in the European Union is a natural outcome, an essential component of the security of Europe, also a reconciliation with the history of our continent. I think we will face better these centuries' challenges if we are together. In recent years, the Balkans have again received renewed attention from the European Union, from NATO, and the international community.
The UN and OSCE have long recognized the respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms are key to delivering true security. All OSCE participant states, through their ratification of foundational OSCE documents and adoption of key declarations, have recognized that human rights are the birthright of all human beings and are inalienable and guaranteed by law.
Point that we bring up in the beginning, Fatima, when you talked about specifically the fact that young people are leaving the Balkan region and that it's tilting more towards autocratic type with governments, because I think 5G fits into both of those discussions directly. If you think about the past, 4G, 3G has just been a commercial telephone enterprise where it's just easier to talk to folks. But when you start to get to 5G, it really does play and become a critical infrastructure for governments per se, as well as for militaries and for big business in that particular arena. And to be frank, it's the telephone, if you will, or the handheld device that you see that really ties young people together today.
And to conclude, my aim was to bring some young people to talk about security. Security, in my belief, is very important for every citizen, but especially the understanding of young people of a NATO country. So we can put our priorities right where it starts, as European perspective country. It is no question that stability without democracy cannot exist. Democracy without free and fair election, where people have their voice and decide with their votes, cannot exist. So we should go to the right way of building our nation, our state, and our European future. Give the people the chance for free and a fair election. The ones that try to put their hands and control the life of the people, control the elections, are not for people. They are for themselves and the enemies of democracy.